Hello, we're back with some rambling for you.
Kind of tips and conversations on how to dance.
In a flat.
Yeah.
And share our experiences and what we learned from dancing in our flat over lockdown.
We conveniently have a nice large empty room with wooden floors, which is probably the best you can hope for in lockdown.
And we live in the same space, so we actually get to dance together.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to have a partner around, make use of each other and dance, because it's nice. Let's dive in. First of all, we want to talk about floors, and I assume that most of you will have some form of either carpeted floor or be lucky enough to have a wooden floor.
Most of you will have some sort of floor. We hope. Basically, if you're dancing on carpets, just be aware of what you're wearing on your feet. Don't wear shoes that are particularly grippy. You'll not do any justice to the carpet, and also your knees will not thank you.
If you're wearing shoes at all, make sure they're clean.
Yeah. You don't want to.
Don't wear your outside shoes inside.
Don't smear dirt into the carpet.
Yeah.
If you are dancing with shoes, just make sure you pick your knees up a little bit more than you ordinarily would, just so you put less stress on your ankles, less stress on your knees.
Yeah. If you prefer dancing in socks, make sure you have a lot of socks, because you might burn through them, because carpets are very likely to give or ruin your socks and give you a lot of holes.
Don't dance in those pair of socks that your gran knitted for your birthday or Christmas, or your famous cashmere socks or whatever.
Or your last pair of socks. Yeah. You can dance barefoot, but then again be aware of the fact that carpets can give you burn marks.
If you're dancing on wood, bless you. Make sure if you are wearing socks, make sure they're not too slippy, so that you don't fall over. Just make sure you've got your weight contained underneath you and you are aware of your surroundings. You don't want to knock into anyone or anything, knock anything over. Also, be aware of your surroundings in terms of fellow housemates or
neighbours, downstairs neighbours,
or parents or partners or whatever. Alternatively, if you are dancing on carpets, you can put down a bit of MDF or a bit of plywood like this and dance on that, which is also a good tip for tap dancing as well.
You might want to have a soft surface like a blanket underneath it if you get to have something like
we usually just put a blanket under it so it doesn't slip around too much.
And it gives your joints
a bit of absorption.
Break. That's floors, I guess. If you're dancing outside and if it's not raining, or if you like dancing in the rain, make sure to wear footwear that is light and good for your joints. So basically trainers, because concrete and also grass are very, very unforgiving, yes, surfaces.
So I've danced in these shoes on concrete before, and for a long period of time, and I ruined my feet and had to take a break from dancing for over 6 months, almost a year, and it still haunts me to this day. Don't do it, kids.
No, don't do it. Listen to your body. If it hurts, take a break, and try and figure out why it hurts so you can change it, so you can dance for longer and be healthy.
And if that means going to a physiotherapist or calling up a doctor, do it.
Do it, and do it earlier rather than later.
There will always be opportunities to dance, but if you damage your body, you won't always be able to do that. So.
If you get the chance to stretch before and after, some practice, do that. Also warm up and cool down if you can, if you have the time, the space, because it just does your body good. Even a quick 5-minute song, just dancing around, warming up, will benefit you. Exercises that you can do while you're at home, possibly alone. One idea, I guess, it doesn't matter if you're a lead or a follow, but you can use your handrails or doorknobs to...
Or a radiator.
Yeah, anything that holds on to that resist your weight, I guess, to basically recreate the tension that you receive in partner dancing, and you can also play with this kind of, how much tension do I have to give to make something work, so you can like become more aware of your own body and how it functions in this kind of relationship. So you can, for example, do swivel exercises where you hold on to a radiator or whatever it is, and do different variations.
And the idea is that you're mimicking this connection, but you can practice it in such a way that you're not really pulling anything down, because obviously when you're partner dancing you don't want to be pulling your partner and forcing them around.
No, like create a reasonable kind of tension. Yeah.
And the other thing, other than just solo dancing, that you can do is you can do footwork drills. There are plenty on YouTube or online generally. One that typically comes to mind is one by Dax, who does triple stepping exercises, and this is triple stepping in various different formations. We'll put a link in the video.
Or you can also just use your narrow hallways to practice your footwork for swing outs, for example.
Yeah. So you're just practicing being on a line.
Linear swing outs.
Just make sure there's no paintings or anything on the walls to knock over.
Or people to run into. And then generally use your own online resources, because there's a lot of material out there, free and
paid,
I guess, donation based as well. So you can support teachers in our community, or just
further afield.
And also use those resources to engage in historical context of swing dancing, to engage in the discussion on racism in dance, swing dance, that is very, very alive at the moment, and there's seminars even on Facebook, or advertised on Facebook, that you can find, and they are very, very cheap to access, so I would highly recommend those.
There's also resources for learning to DJ as well, which is good, and get you listening to swing music again. And if you don't want to do any of that, then you can still look at competitions and get inspiration and see different techniques. And good thing about YouTube is that you can slow things down if something is you can't quite work it out, or you can even step through frame by frame by hitting the full stop comma. Just a little tip there.
And there's, YouTube is a rich resource. So you can also go and find video clips from the 1920s and 30s and look at what Lindy Hop or swing dance was like then. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, also, if you have you can come up with household item dances and stuff like that, because that's fun and silly, and that sounds like something we should do. So if you have a broom around, or want to dance with your coffee and try and shag dance without spilling it.
I would recommend using water just in case you don't do it perfectly and then get coffee all over the carpet. But stuff like that, and fun challenges to have. That's it. Stay safe.
Wash your hands.
Hopefully see you next time we get to go and dance properly.
Yes.